Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here and welcome back to another video on Spider-Man No Way Home. And for today's video, I'll be going over a lot of deleted scenes and alternate endings which have been cut from the movie. So yeah, if you guys go on to enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more MCU videos coming your way. And the reason this video is a couple of days late is because I wanted to wait for a while just so everyone has the chance to see the film before I actually go on to do spoiler videos like this, which is why I gave it quite some time before I actually did a video on this. But yeah, Tom Holland has actually revealed that they've had so many alternate versions of many scenes in the movie, most specifically the third act. So although they were able to bring back past villains such as Sandman, Lizard, Electro, and Green Goblin to complete this multiverse story, and also they were able to bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to reprise their roles as Spider-Man, they had so many scenes which have been changed very frequently in this third act. This goes all the way from Ned opening up the portal and bringing the two Spider-Men together, to all the three Spider-Men working together and building these cures for their villains, all the way to that big massive final battle between Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland Spider-Man facing off the Sinister Six, leading to Peter attempting to kill Goblin and Tobey Maguire stopping him from doing it. All of this has been changed very frequently, and this resulted into the version we all saw in the theaters, which is obviously the theatrical cut. Now, the reason why the third act has changed so much is actually because of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire appearing in the movie. I've heard a lot of news outlets mentioning that when Andrew and Tobey got approached to reprise their roles as Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield was automatically down to do it, which makes sense because he's always expressed his love and passion for this character, and I for one was so glad that he was able to put the suit back on because he is my favorite Spider-Man out of the three. But Tobey Maguire, on the other hand, needed a little bit more convincing, and eventually he was able to make the final cut, saying that he ended up returning. But there have been several drafts because of all of these negotiations and all of these sorts of stuff. So there was a draft without the two other Spider-Man during the early stages of production, and it would have just been our Spider-Man facing off the Sinister Six in some way. So what I think would have happened if this was the case was that it would have been Doctor Strange who would have teamed up with Peter, and he would have probably escaped the mirror world a lot sooner in the movie, and he would have actually been the one that helps Peter take down all these other villains. Then when Andrew Garfield signed on and Tobey was still in negotiations, there was a draft where it was only Andrew and Tom Holland's Spider-Man facing off the Sinister Six, and it was only Andrew Garfield basically pep talking Tom Holland Spider-Man, giving him all these struggles. Basically all these Spidey interactions would have just been with Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. And I'm guessing once again the final battle would have been with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange. So pretty much Tobey Maguire was the last person to sign up for this film, in which he obviously did, which is what we ended up with on the theaters. There is also an alternate ending scene from the movie where Tobey has just signed on to do this one movie and then it was a done deal. So pretty much originally he was supposed to die when Goblin stabbed him, but Andrew Garfield would have still been alive. He would have still been normal. So saying that this has been changed, it is possible that they are planning something for these two Spider-Men to return in the near future in the MCU, or maybe have their own Sony projects. Obviously, we do know that Tom Holland is getting another trilogy with Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. Due to the positive feedback from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in No Way Home, in which he did literally steal the show when he returned, I thought he was the MVP of the movie, and because of Andrew Garfield literally taking the spotlight during this film, fans have been bargaining for the Amazing Spider-Man 3 to happen ever since, in which if you have Twitter, you would have most probably seen it trend every once in a while. And I will go more in detail with that in another video. But saying that they kept Tobey Maguire alive and pretty much left the doors open for both of the other Spider-Men to return in the near future, it is possible that they could make some sort of a cameo during Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or maybe if Marvel Studios are planning to do a Secret Wars movie, they could potentially be part of that. With the concept of the multiverse, anything is really possible. Because Venom went back to the Sonyverse, you could say that maybe they're setting up Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man being the Spider-Man in that Sonyverse, and he's the one who would face off Tom Hardy's Venom. All of these theories are possible. It just depends on if they will do it or not. Now, there was also this report, and this was coming from Daniel RPK, but apparently, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were down to return, apparently, Emma Stone was said to reprise her role as a past version of Gwen Stacy from before she died, which would make sense because she did know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so it would have made sense if she got pulled into this MCU world as well, and it would have been pretty cool to see her return. Not just that, but it would have made a very emotional scene between Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and this past Gwen Stacy, because this Andrew Garfield who returned in the movie is a future version of Andrew Garfield from years after The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So to see him interact with this past Gwen Stacy, it would have been incredibly emotional. It would have been so great to see, and with Andrew Garfield's acting capability, you know it would be one hell of a scene. We could have had him like hugging her and saying like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't save you. We could have had those various scenes like that. It would have been pretty cool to see. But yeah, we didn't end up getting it. Now, I don't really care about this one, but it would have been pretty interesting to have this one as well. But we were also supposed to have Kirsten Dunst return as MJ. And they weren't able to obviously make it due to the pandemic and scheduling. So yeah, that is why Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst did not end up making it into the movie. But we do also have a couple of deleted scenes which took place during this film as well. So the first alternate scene involves the scene between Tony Stark's daughter, Morgan Stark, and Peter Parker. Now, I have no idea when this scene was going to take place, just looking back at the whole movie. I watched this twice, and I have no idea where they would have been able to fit this in. So yeah, I'm glad that we didn't end up getting it, because if you really think about it, it's pretty unnecessary. I'm just guessing this was going to be one of those scenes where it just, shows these elements of Tony Stark and Peter's life. And it just shows how much Tony Stark meant to Peter. And we would have had this nice interaction between Morgan Stark and Peter Parker for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm glad that we didn't end up getting it. The reason we probably didn't end up getting it is because the actress who plays Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow, was not available to film. And it would have been very weird to have Morgan Stark and not have like a guardian at her presence, so that's why I think we didn't end up getting it. We did also have this deleted scene between Spider-Man and this mugger, and I wish that they kept this, but I'm not really gonna complain if we didn't end up getting it, which we didn't. But it would have just been really cool to see this. But what was so cool about the scene was that Tom Holland's brother, Harry Holland, was going to be playing this mugger. Obviously, Spider-Man catches him, as you guys would have seen from the clip I'm playing right now. But this was actually during that montage scene where J. Jonah Jameson was trashing on Spider-Man, and then we had that clip where a random guy throws a green goo at Spider-Man. So this scene would have taken place before that green goo is thrown at him. So the mugging would have taken place, and then Spider-Man obviously catches the mugger, and then someone would have thrown that green goo at Spider-Man. That's how the scene would have went down. The next deleted scene is actually when Peter goes to Doctor Strange to make it so the whole world never knew that he was Spider-Man. And essentially what took place during this deleted scene, and you guys would have seen this in the first trailer, and that was when we had Wong telling Doctor Strange to not cast that spell because it's too dangerous, and then Doctor Strange responds, "Fine, I won't." And then he winks at Peter as Wong goes to Camartage, and as Doctor Strange and Peter go on to execute the spell. In the theatrical cut, however, Wong doesn't tell Doctor Strange to not cast that spell. He does tell him that it's dangerous, and then he just tells Doctor Strange to not keep him involved in it, but he does give him the pass to do it. But yeah, having looked at all these deleted scenes, I do genuinely believe that the theatrical version we ended up with is the best version of the film. Like, as I said before, the deleted scenes weren't really necessary to have in the first place. Like, we didn't really need this scene between Peter Parker and Morgan Stark, and although it would have been really cool to have that mugging scene where Tom Holland's brother plays the mugger, it was still a pretty unnecessary scene, so I do understand why they took it out. But as I said, that was one of the scenes that I would have really liked to see. But then the Doctor Strange scene as well, I thought the way they handled it in the film was much better as well. So overall, I think the theatrical version of the film is just much better overall, and as I said before, those deleted scenes were pretty unnecessary. In terms of the alternate ending with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, if this report was true that he was actually going to end up dying when Goblin stabbed him, I'm kind of glad that they kept him alive. So yeah, pretty much overall, the theatrical version of the film is the best version of the film that there is. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys would have liked to see any of these deleted scenes. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.